Feast week, it's well underway. It's been tremendous. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about the Bearcats. They win yesterday, 94-67. You're playing what? New Jersey Institute of Technology. Okay, nice. You went out there and you won. At this point, it's all about getting ready for Xavier, right? I think you got, Eastern Michigan coming up tomorrow, and then maybe Tarleton State, or maybe that's Xavier. I don't know, but you got 2 games, I believe, before Xavier, and you just got to get some stuff cleaned up, right? I think the takeaway from last night is, okay, Shon Abaev, that's a really good game, right? Led the team in scoring, was comfortable, took a bunch of threes again, hit a few more this time. I don't know exactly if that's the recipe of how you want your offense to operate, is him chucking a ton of threes. If he starts to make it at maybe a bit of a higher clip, I think you have some more confidence there with that. But that was good to see. Obviously, Wes got to play a lot of guys in the game last night. You had the freshman sharpshooter from Spain, I believe. He came in. He played well. Rodriguez, perhaps, I think his name. So that was good to see, and you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do from a depth perspective there with Baba Miller. So Baba did not go. I don't know. I don't have an update exactly if it's a day-to-day thing or if he's going to miss some time. If you don't have him in the Xavier game, that's going to be huge, right? I do think he's your best player, and so you had to work at different lineups in there, a new starting lineup there, of course, as well. But I think you got to be intrigued with what you got from Abaev, right? Again, when you're a caliber of recruit that he is, the expectation is come in and you are one of our guys. You are one of our studs. You help us lead this team. And he's kind of now looked at with Baba being on the bench. It's like, okay, Abaev, this is your show. Go out there and be our best player. I think that's kind of how you feel right now with Baba Miller going down. So impressed with what you saw against him. Again, level of competition, you can't really read too much into it. But Mustafa Cham, to me, has put together back-to-back great games. I thought he was exceptional against Louisville. I thought he was good enough to win that game against Louisville. Had a double-double in the game last night. I'm really excited about him. I think it's pretty clear at this point you like him a lot more than you like Aziz Bandago, right? You feel a lot more confident, certainly with him at the free throw line, but he just feels like a bit of a tougher player, protects the rim a little bit better, has more of a shot, better passer. So I think that's a great pickup from Wes. Mustafa Cham, lots of reason to be excited about him. And if he can kind of be that too to Shon Abaev with Baba down, that could potentially work there. And you get some of that shooting off the bench. Buck Harris, we all love him. He's a spark plug off the bench. I liked what Wes did. I think there was probably some temptation from Wes to insert him into the starting lineup without Baba. He didn't, but, I mean, that guy's just an electric factory when he comes off the bench. He's sprinting up and down the court, getting steals, dunking on people, jumping out of the gym. He's great, and a good call there from Wes to leave him on the bench. But, a couple more tune-ups here. Eastern Michigan, obviously, is certainly a step up in competition from NJIT. But, I think, kind of an exhibition type of feel last night. But, you got to win. Took care of business. Not too many issues. Handedly, you took care of business there. So, good bounce back there for the Bearcats. Iowa State, St. John's yesterday, great game. St. John's dropped a few games earlier in the year. They got another difficult game today against Baylor. But, I like this from Pitino. You've seen this with NATO. It's like you're playing some good teams, and I think you shouldn't be scared to do that in college basketball, right? There's a ton of teams that make the tournament. And if you have success within your conference, you're going to make the tournament, right? So I don't have any issues with, scheduling some tougher opponents. That's the thing here, because as a college basketball fan, I'm tapped in. Now, or with football, on Thanksgiving, for instance, there's some good college basketball games on Thanksgiving. Probably not going to have much of my attention there when you look at the NFL slate, but I definitely consider myself someone that's into college basketball. But there's a lot of portion of the fan base that they show up in March, right? I think the whole idea here is how can you peel some people away from football and kind of tap into a little bit what's going on in college basketball. Early season, great competition helps do that. You're seeing that a little bit more. Props to Alabama. Props to St. John's. Teams that are testing themselves early here. Would like to see more teams do that. And, St. John's, they lose to a good Iowa State team, but whatever. And when you're playing in these kind of tournaments, right, and you're playing, back-to-back days, right, and you're playing good teams, it's just good for the sport. It's good for the sport, and it's what makes this week so great. Auburn beats Oregon 84-73. It's tough to say what you expect from the Oregon basketball team here at this point. I think they got a great coach. Obviously, Auburn is without Bruce Pearl. It's his son that takes over. You got some question marks there. if you're an Auburn fan, unfortunate because the past couple of years you had teams and rosters that were good enough to win a national title. You weren't quite able to capitalize there, but they should be solid, but they're definitely wouldn't consider them a national title threat here at this point. They're in action against Michigan, who might be a national title threat there, so looking forward to that game. Watch the Gonzaga-Alabama game. I've always had kind of a soft spot for Gonzaga. I just think it's cool that they're not in this big conference. They're a small school, but they're so good. And I love the fact that Few's been there for so long. I think that's really kind of a neat storyline. He's had multiple opportunities to leave and take a big-time job, but he stays at Gonzaga, wins a ton of games, and wins games in March, too. Hasn't won that national title yet, but I'm always pulling for it. I would love to see Gonzaga win one national title with Mark Few at the helm, and not predicting they're going to do it, but this team has the ability to do it. Was really impressed with how they played against Alabama last night. When you play Bama, it's kind of like a UFC fight early, where it's like you just got to that early flurry of they're sprinting, they're running down the floor, or they're pulling threes, they're going in. You just got to be able to withstand that. Gonzaga did a tremendous job of that. And then there were some moments there when Bama went on a bit of a run and Gonzaga said, not so fast. We're going to hang in there here in this game. And ultimately, when you rebound the way Gonzaga did and you just find a way to hang in there, it's only a matter of time before you distance yourself, right? And Bama made a charge there with about 10, 12 minutes left in the game, and then rest of the way Gonzaga just kind of separated and never looked back. I think the storyline of the year for Alabama right now is they can't rebound the basketball, and they give up a ton of offensive rebounds. Part of it's a size thing. Part of it's an effort and toughness thing. Aiden Sherrill, who was a freshman last year, he's a sophomore this year. They're paying him a lot of money, I would assume, in NIL, and they're expecting him to be a force on the boards. And yeah, he can score, which is great, but he hasn't been able to rebound the way you want. And there was a couple instances where shot goes up for Gonzaga, and he just turns around. You got to find a body, and you got to go get the rebound. You are the 5 out there. You need to get the rebound. The transfer from Tarleton State, Bristow, he's tremendous. Maybe if you're Nate Oates, you think about putting him into the starting lineup a little bit. Taylor Bowen, he's had some good moments, but he only played 14 minutes last night, and he fouled out. So it's that's not good, right? So it'll be interesting to see how Nate Oates handles his rotations here, but you can't continue to get beat like this on the boards or you're not going to have a chance to make a run, right? I think you look at this Alabama roster, you look at the talent they have, you look at their backcourt, you look at their coach, you say, it's a national championship team. But if you're going to continue to get out-rebounded like that, you don't have a chance. And again, they've gotten out-rebounded by teams like Purdue and teams like Gonzaga, right? So, it's not like fully hitting the panic button here. That's an issue. That can't continue if you're Alabama. But Gonzaga, they've got a bunch of experience. EK is one of the best players in the country. He had a slow start to the game, I think is what contributed to Alabama kind of having some early success, but he turned it on. He played really, really well. They got a couple of transfer guys that go in and play. They got a freshman that starts for them at the guard spot, and they're just really good. And they've got some bigs that can put the ball on the floor too. His name is escaping me here at this moment, but the 4 for them as well, he can get to the rim, and he was doing that as well. He can put the ball on the floor, and that's kind of – you need that, right, with some of your bigs to be able to handle the basketball there as well. So Gonzaga, my biggest question with them is depth. I don't know how many guys Mark Few intends to play. If somebody gets banged up, they're going to be in a tough spot. But the lineup that they had out there in last night's game, that's a national title caliber team, and that was a very impressive win against Alabama. More great games today, as I mentioned, Michigan, Auburn, Tennessee, Houston as well is a great game. Houston, I used to not like Kelvin Sampson, but I think it was because he would just beat the crud out of the UC Bearcats. So I was like, this guy. But, last year I really developed a lot of respect for him, and he's been doing it for a long time. He's tremendous. And, yeah, he's crazy. But you can act like that, 1, if you love your players, and 2, you win. Right, and he wins, and it's very clear he loves his players, and his players love him as well. They're integrating some freshmen into their lineup. No L.J. Cryer is big, right? They're very much their core principles as a team, very defensive-minded, very nitty-gritty, very low-scoring. We're going to out-tough you. We're going to out-physical you. And that was their mantra last year, but then their bucket getter was L.J. Cryer. He leaves, so they're kind of trying to figure out who that scorer is for them. Uzan, yeah, you trust him with the ball, but he has the ball probably too much, and it's like, well, he's not that A type of scorer. So they're still working through some things, but they'll be fine. Are they as good as last year? No, but can they win the national title? Yes. Looking forward to that matchup with Tennessee. I haven't really gotten to watch Tennessee much this year, so that game's at 6. That certainly will be a good one.